Like, I was pretty skeptical, and then I heard like the Bob Lazar story, and then like the Commander Fraser story, and I was like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Those are excellent stories.
Yeah, like holy shit.
Yeah,
all the things to back it up. And
the
like,
Bob Lazar one particularly, and so actually I love the Bob Lazar story.
It's amazing.
Like where I've tried to find every interview with him to like find more details, and I have this theory on how I connect bass and how UFOs work.
a connect base?
No, like I try to connect, like I try to use my understanding of the physics of sound and waves with how UFOs could work.
Okay.
You want to hear this?
Please.
Yeah. So it's like,
Please.
So have you heard of gravity waves?
I've heard of gravity waves. Yes, I've heard.
It's like a new thing.
Oh, it's new.
Yeah, it's a new discovery.
It sounds like a joke you're about to give me. Have you heard of gravity waves? It's like, yeah, we've discovered.
About to hit something heavy, but yeah. So there's these two devices called LIGO, and one's in Florida, one's in Washington State, and one's somewhere in the South. I forgot where, but basically they're mile-long vacuum tubes with a laser shining through it. And when a gravity wave occurs when two black holes collide, or a black hole and a neutron star, and it creates such a massive force that it creates a ripple in space-time itself. And those ripples are detectable with these LIGO like laser tubes. Because what happens is that when space-time ripple passes over Earth, the phase of that laser changes, like like the phase of a waveform, like that. We're getting some nerdy shit right now, but basically it goes out of phase because the time that it takes for the laser to travel that mile in the vacuum tube changes because time and space has compressed and expanded based upon where you are in the gravity wave, because it's a wave. Like, so instead of a flat
You're losing
line,
me. Bring it back.
So like imagine a fucking bass wave.
Okay.
And that shit's all wiggly and whatnot, and it goes
like
up
a
and down.
Wave or something.
A sine wave. So imagine in the sine wave, at the top, it's compressed. It's closer together, or at the bottom, it's closer together, as opposed to a flat line that's like even all the way out. And so it's because of those wiggles, time and space act differently. And so it's like time and space actually wiggle like a sine wave.
Okay.
When the gravity wave passes over us.
So does that wave change when the gravity passes over us, or we're able to just detect it?
It's like almost like we're in a pond, a still pond, and when a gravity wave hits, it's like throwing a rock in it, and we're experiencing the ripples.
Got you. Thank you for putting it in those terms.
Yeah. So from that, I'm like, okay, well, if gravity is a wave that's confirmed, then what other things can you do with gravity that waves can do? So like, I think of all the shit that we do inside of the synthesizer, like resonance, like what if you could resonate gravity since it's a wave? And so like, I was thinking like, there's also this idea that anything with mass also has gravity. And so there's this like technically this ambient field of gravity everywhere in the universe. So what if you could resonate a particular spot of gravity and basically like wiggle that so the gravity gets bigger and it attracts you to that moment or to that space.
Pulls you to it.
Yeah. And so instead of like being propelled like explosions, we're attracted. So you basically fall towards your destination.
Like surfing gravity to a certain point.
Yeah, surfing gravity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I'm thinking waves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, the whole epiphany is that gravity is a wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, well, if gravity is a wave, what other aspects of waves can you do?
Yeah. So how do you relate that to aliens?
Is that maybe that's how these UFOs work?
Or coming here. Well, the spacecraft that they were talking about with Bob Lazar is that he can literally control gravity, and it's like a gravity sail.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying it's like maybe it works off this gravity, and like I'm just thinking as like I understand music production, maybe there's some like crossover between music production and how UFOs work, just because it's all waves.
Bro, you fucking are wild.
I don't know, this shit, it's interesting.
It's interesting as fuck. And listen, I'm all for this conversation. It's awesome. Like, it's definitely having me thinking, like, yeah, I mean, because we know how to manipulate waveforms,
right?
Gravity waveforms. Maybe we could figure that shit out, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to isotope trash the universe,
dude. Right there,
just start polluting.
Throw a sausage fattener on the fucking gravity waves. See, like we can go full out on this analogy.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. All right, so do you think these are aliens that we're being visited from, or do you think it's us from the future?
I don't know.
Isn't that crazy? Because like all the things that, like all the technology we have to capture these motherfuckers, they're so slick and so good.
Well, I mean,
that we can barely.
The world's big.
It's really big, but also like, bro, everyone's got a 4K recording device in their.
Have you tried to film the moon with your iPhone? It doesn't work.
I can honestly say I have not tried to film the moon with my iPhone.
Or like the stars, or like, like even despite, we got some great technology, you know, it's like, still the shit's limited, especially if you're dealing with something that's like putting a sausage fattener on some gravity waves.
We don't know how to do that yet.
iPhone can't capture that.
Yeah, dude, you need to go just sit down with SpaceX. Be like, listen, y'all, isotope trash this bitch up.
Elon, just trash your whole thing.
Trash it all. This is all stupid. What y'all have going on is dumb.
You need to do this.
We need an OTT.
We're bass music producers. We make dubstep. We know what we're
talking about. We know what we're talking about, dude.